an entire series in terms of pacing. South State averaging 8 and some odd points per game, keeping them in the running, of course, giving them the opportunity in the second half to try and finish this one off strong. But will it be Turtle Club who found some renewed energy here, taking that win in game number 3? We're joining board on board with them as we see the split going over towards Thermal Station there in the southwest part of the map currently.
Yeah, and watch how they loot from the outside in here. That's the key for Rambo. You make sure that you take these buildings and then you work your way in. If you work your way in and then out, you just don't loot as fast. So we'll see what they're going to be able to get. Volt and Blue Armor is a pretty decent start overall. But again, they are really showing that the teams that are coming through, and yes, playing in the middle of the circle works great on the pro day. But on the open days, there's so many teams that are taking fights that if you don't go and take a fight, speaking of fights, we do have one happening with South State over here towards the Fragment East side. And this is what we saw last time. They are able to find another knock and another finish right here. So this is what you want to see coming through. And Bronzy doesn't even care if he has armor. He's still going to come through and hit scans for his team. Love the way that Bronzy plays. He's always putting his team first. But he's also making sure he's not making any major mistakes. He's going and finding armor before he goes and makes his push. As we do have another fight, that's going to be Tech Candy getting knocked by Clinical. But again, pay attention to the way that Bronzy plays this support Bloodhound role. You don't really want to be in the front as Bloodhound. You want to leave that up to Mercy only and to Pride over here. And speaking of Mercy, feels bad, man, not having VIP in the chat.
What's worse than having no VIP? I think having no armor here. Bronzy's still struggling to find that one as he does clear the drone. They're full committing onto the east side here as Pride does take some damage, and so Bronzy's gonna have to push in for this fight without any armor here. So 100 HP for him. There we go. The blue armor coming up. Wow, that was very fortunate for them as they do get that first knock as Pride connects, taking out Avi there. He does take some damage from No Name. Mercy has thrown down his bubble as well. Pride secures that thirst onto Avi as 3-1 Men's Shampoo find themselves in a fight over here in launch. It's going to be Mass to get that one as the scans do come out. The bubble abates, and now he tries to push forward. Legit does with that massive long-range 9-shot onto Davis to take him out, and he does have that massive to try and finish it, but Masked will bring this one down to a 1v1. Clinical, does he have no heals, just hitting the syringe, and so it doesn't have any shields. The thermite connects onto him as well, and he might just burn down here as he ticks away, surviving with 20 HP as he plays this angle as best as he can. But Mass will be able to secure this for him, and he'll be able to at least get the banner for Tech. And now he still needs to res Davis. We'll see if Applejacks maybe come in for the third party here. Joining on board with Rockstar, who are playing over by Lava Fissure, have one spotted out as Crummy has taken some damage. Matt Pickett healing up a full as well. Tech will just go ahead and rejoin his squad. They might have been trying to gain control over that beacon to try and get that information. It's just unfortunate they ran into someone. They're going to call it here and back up off of this one.
It's interesting to see Rockstar and how so much has changed in just a week. Their rotations are completely different. A lot of times when we scroll through, they are making super fast rotations over towards train, and then they find themselves in fights. I wonder if they realize that they're being a little bit too predictable in their routes and they need to mix it up a little bit. And it looks like to me that's what they're doing. But Pop-Tarts over towards this no-name area finds themselves in a little bit of a fight. Stomp's taking a lot of damage. Needs 50 to charge us up to blue. And I really wouldn't be taking any fights with gray armor if I'm Team Pop-Tarts here. And it looks like that's what they're interested in doing. They're going to back off, find another way to rotate. But the problem is this team is starting to push up because they sense the weakness. They sense the gray armor. And they're going to continue to try to add pressure on. Nice little 60 there coming in from Stomps. That's exactly what he needed to go and get that charged up towards the blue. Now they can really take this fight if they wanted to. It comes down to his bubble, though. It comes down to a big scan from Impulse. Yeah, the third party does come from behind. So they actually are going to stay in this one because I don't think a fourth party is coming from the tunnel. So this is the perfect case scenario coming in for Team Pop-Tart.
I don't know who's exactly ahead of them. It might be South State coming in for the third party. We know that they were playing over at Fragment East. They were eyeing this spot over here. And so now that team, they are in the sandwich and they're getting hit up 36-27 to the body, but they're not able to finish him off. Unfortunate for them to try and find this opening at this point. But still, the pressure is there on this squad for the time being as Pop-Tarts are poking their head out here to try to find anything. The portal has been used by that squad as well to get out. And so Pop-Tarts You're going to think that squad coming in for the third party, and they are going to be able to set up a port for this high ground on that beacon building. Lucas does get hit up, and Stomps was considering joining his squad. He is, of course, on that Gibraltar, but he's got a nice angle with the 30-30 on the team that's stuck in Dorito right now, Tom.
Yeah, I like the way that he's playing this one. Again, occasionally checking his back, making sure everything's cool. Looks like everyone's going to skedaddle and scatter on that team and make their way up through this huge open ground. Unfortunately, not a scope for Stomps. And if he was able to have just a 2x here, he'd be able to do some serious damage. 1 to 2 not going to be nearly as useful as he does land a couple of shots right here. This team is sticking around. Now they're starting to fight back a little bit. And that's what you kind of have to do. Just poke, show that you have a little bit of presence and that you're not completely incapable of fighting. And because if you go against these top teams, they're going to just pick you apart if you continue to run away. So all that is what they needed to do in terms of just showing a little bit of a presence, backing out. And now Applejack's fighting in another Dorito building. Aves takes massive damage over here. It looks like he's going to pop a battery and maybe a medkit if he has it. Has to dip away from his team. That's a great arc star. That's going to push him off the building. Do they have a nade, though? If Rolders has something to go and lock down the door, which he did, he threw a thermite there. That's going to buy some time. That's big. They needed that so they can go and heal up here. Aves still hasn't had a chance to hit the mid kit. Defensive bombardment is going to connect, and that's going to be nasty. We the people with the initial knock right there. And this is going to be Turtle Club. They're going to get the finish as well. So now they have an armor swap for We the People if he wants to go and do so. And they also are going to have an idea of what's going on below them, but that's Rockstar and Pickett coming through with the third party. We saw that they were all the way over towards Lava Fisher. Now they've made their way over here to come and try to spoil this fight. It looks like that's what they're doing. Tomcat Rat Cam over here for Execution Gaming. Shully locking it down, but we have too many important fights for the Tomcat Rat Cam right now. We got to see what's going on with Pop-Tarts. Rambo, Aves goes down. A lot of different action. Shully, you're not going to last long with that white armor, bro.
Yeah, and so here it is, the final end of this fight now, as Applejack's, of course, trying to survive this third party. Going to be tech to finish that one off for Team Rockstar, but Rockstar understand, of course, the position that they are in now. If they were able to come in third party, other teams will be able to as well. So Team Applejack's had a great game number one, but they are now faltering here, not able to carry through with that momentum. It's Rockstar that are building it up at the time being. If we can join on board with Team Pop-Tarts, I mean, we were seeing that, you know, there were 3 teams involved in that fight. They were able to get some knocks onto Team Cruelty, and we also had one other squad in the area. And so right now, it looks like Team Pop-Tarts will just try and gatekeep here, rotating in with the zone. Currently, they have someone to their north. That might be South State that they'll be running into very shortly, as Stomps takes a lot of damage throughout all of that, forced to pop that fat. Unfortunately for him, he was only 74 damage away from having the purple as well. But they will just continue to hold this team currently in Frag East. Impulse with that scan does get scanned back, so that slows them down, but hey, they are going for the full reset.
Yeah, I really want to know what zone this is going to be. So if we could pull up the map and have anyone that scanned round number 3, it'll make a lot more sense on the way that these teams are electing to play. It looks like Mass is going to get knocked right there onto Rambo, so Turtle Club still find themselves in a little bit of a skirmish. I'm not sure if that's just the rats that are trying to make their way out or not. And there it is. The scan is going to show exactly which teams are setting up. Rice Krispies looks like they're in a pretty decent spot. They're going to be locking things down. You also have a team that's locking down the back of Trials too. So I don't know exactly what ending this is going to be, but you start to see the teams are really starting to posture up in favor of this north-hand side. And another team to take a look at is Team Pringles. They are sitting up on that left-hand side of the leaderboard, which is exactly where you want to be, and they're also in a good position. Again, look at the top left of your map. They have the circle towards their back. That's what a lot of these pro players are trying to do. Always stay on that slow side and make sure that any third parties that they have, they can just portal right in, just like Fury wants to do.
Yeah, so Pringles are just going to hold this angle for now, as Pop-Tarts were able to finish off Team Cruelty. Don't know where South State are, and throughout all of that, maybe they started making their rotation now. Nasky did get finished off, by the way, by Team Rockstar. So Turtle Club, despite taking the win in that last game, I don't think they put any points on the board for game number 40 here. And so that's going to allow our other squads to start gaining a lead on them, as Pringles will continue to just craft up. Let's go ahead and take a look at other squads now. We've been sitting on Pringles for the last minute and nothing really happening here.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see some of these rotations that are coming through. Team Cheez-It looks like they're still looting things up, and also decent armors all across the board. This is one of the slower games that we've had with only 17 squads. So looks like after halftime, teams are trying to get a little bit more methodical in terms of how they want to rotate, and also when they pick and choose their battles. Nestle Pure Life is one of the teams that we saw in the very, very back locking down Trials. They don't have many teams around them, just a couple of these teams that were over towards that Skyhook side. So it's going to be difficult for them to actually find kills. There goes the bubble res onto Bronzy, as Ack was able to rip him pretty decently with that Volt, and now the heal is going to have to come through. Looks like he's going to go inside for this one. The Phoenix kit is going to be swooped up. Now the scans are going to come through. Bronzy's going to be the one to provide that. They're all the way over here towards the survey side, so this is not ideal, but you do realize that you're not going to get third-partied here because you're most likely in no man's land with a lot of these teams. But nice job by Mercy Only. You can see just protecting Bronzy as he could heal. And now they're going to realize that there's too many teams in the vicinity. They'd rather focus on a rotation, maybe get to a more priority spot instead of being stuck in a building over towards survey.
Yeah, it's just choke after this fight and when this ring closes. And so they need to move with the ring right now. And it looks like they will swing over towards that train platform. For the time being, there was a team playing over at the train entrance. As you can see, the ping's going down in front of them right now. Extra utility coming out as they pick up that thermite as well. And we can see just the edge of that ring outside of the chokes. And so if Southside can get the angle here, they will be safe. But we've got the sniper shots ringing out as well, and they've got to be careful throughout all of this. Here comes the port from Pride. Try to get them to safety for now. It looks like they will avoid the fight, and they might actually have priority on this squad to try and gatekeep them, as he will go ahead and take the rooftop of this building.
Nothing like taking the rooftop and getting charge rifled for 125 from behind as you're trying to take a fight directly in front of you. Such bad timing there for Southside. Bronzy is going to eat it as well. That player gets a sound cue. Nice thermite being placed over towards the feet, but it's not going to matter. Strictly comes through, and that's a very fast squad wipe for Team Depression. But it was all about that charge rifle over towards the side, and now this team thinks they have an easy third party, but Strictly, he takes a ton of damage now. He's going to have to queue back to the building, and this is Lonely Fans. They are getting extremely aggressive on this. Let's see if Blight's able to utilize these grenades and this Nox gas grenade to perfection. That's a good defensive department that backs him off. He is going to get some ticks there on the armor. That's a red armor, but Blight does not use his grenade quite yet. Nice grenade doesn't land over towards the top of the rock, but this positioning for Blight would be huge. All he has to do is use that Nox gas grenade. He just doesn't realize exactly where these players are.
Yeah, I'm surprised that he's not throwing it down. Stanky, though, will have a scan very shortly, and there it is. He's got the information. So the Nox gas grenade should come out shortly here, but instead, he's electing to hold on to that for the time being. He's got that golden scope on the charge rifle here with not too many shots behind it as well, as they see that the Wraith is trying to port out, or at least queue out here, and they want to try and give chase. Bubble has been used, and this is still only just the second ring, and so they can try and survive through this, as it looks like Lonely Fans will force them off this. They'll be able to pick up the loot that they were not able to get at the very least. Blight once again on the high, but they have completely avoided this, and so they will survive and back away off of this one. We're down to 16 squads, 44 players as we are in the third round of game number 4.
Yeah, and they're not going to elect to rotate through there. There's a reason they're backing off. Team Cheez-It, though, looks like they have a huge advantage in this fight. That's going to be Team Pop-Tarts. 2 players are going to be ripped. That's all 3 players immediately going down, and overall, looks like they only took about 100 damage as a team on the Team Cheez-It side. So if any third party comes through, they're going to be absolutely fine. That thermite ticking away doesn't mean much, so they're going to be okay. And nice team fight there for Team Cheez-It, but man, poor Lonely Fans. They lost their opportunity. I thought they were going to play extremely aggressive. They did up to a certain point, and as soon as I said they're going to send it, they actually just backed off and lost out on a couple of kill points and mopping another really good team. So now Depression does make the rotation through, and it looks like they're going to be free to go, as that medkit is going to be popped here too. So I really like this rotate. Strictly has been very impressive today, even though it doesn't seem like Depression's been putting up a lot of points.
Yeah, he's been able to clutch up for his squad, but again, with 3 games left to go, they need to start picking up the pace. They need to find more throughout all of this, as they are currently sitting, I believe, in 10th place with 14 points overall. This is one of their better games so far, able to get that Team 5 win. As Strictly, it's going to be another one. Knock on to Voltic, but Messiah has gone down. It's down to a 2v2, but it's Strictly fighting out in that 1v2. Mooney able to finish that one off. It's all up to Kimchi here, but he's got the R301 with a 3x and a triple take here as he gets shot up, and now as he backs away, his squad should get finished. Oh boy, they are continuing to play aggressively on him now, try and finish him off. as Strictly does go down to the ring. Kimchi doesn't seem like he has any heals left. He's covering this door for the time being as it's thermited off. They use that gravity lift to back away. And so now with the ring closing in, he has to charge forward as well. Blueberry Smalls coming in with that third party. That gives the armor swap over to Kimchi. He's getting double peeked here as Blueberry Smalls over peaks, gets taken out, but the gas grenade is there to finish him off. And so now on board with Team Cruelty, it's the Tomcat Ratcam playing over here by Countdown now. But the ring will go ahead and pull to that connecting area between Skyhook and Countdown.
We have a rat off, the battle of the rats, scissors, in much less shambles than our boy Shully over here, but he does have basically a gold hemlock, so that's pretty impressive. Let's let's get a poll in the chat. Who's gonna last longer on the Tomcat Ratcam? Is it gonna be Shully or Scissors? I got my money on the Pathfinder. I feel like he's gonna be able to be a little bit more maneuverable with that gold helmet, but we do have a fight happening with Team Razor. Let's hop on board with them and see what's going on with Team Cheez-It as well. And there's his scan coming through. Rakanishu is going to be able to see that these players are inside the trailer, but he gets ripped over towards the side. Looks like there's at least 3 teams here.
Yeah, and that's going to be Rice Krispie Treats, able to pick that one up. Mr. Hackula will finish off Joey Blackout. And so that's going to be Team Cheez-It down to just Prodigy Aces here. So he's got this angle. He's full health, but no, he's still stuck as going to pop into that queue, does not pick up the banner throughout all of that. I mean, wouldn't really even have an opportunity to try and res them here as he takes a port out. That was a blind one as well, and he does survive. See, we have multiple rats still alive here. I believe it's now 3 rats that we have in the game. Team Razor find themselves on the edge of the zone with 24 seconds left to go. They need to start making their way on in. They don't have the scans to clear out these angles, so it's a dangerous affair, but at the very least, they are tanky. They've got the double purples along with the gold on Mr. Hackula now, and we'll pick up additional loot here. As you can see, the Havoc, we don't get to see much of fairly frequently here, as Prodigy Aces now has been spotted out. He's going to be the first rat possibly to go down. He's got an angle to heal up. No, boy, that's right into a barrel. He did get that bat off, and thankfully for him, that keeps him alive for the time being. He's trying to hit that top 10. TC Scissors is the first rat to go down. And Prodigy Ace is still alive here. 11 squads left, 29 players remaining.
Yeah, some nice maneuvering to stay alive. Made his way over towards the lava. Also going to defend himself over towards the left-hand side. But now the collapse is going to come. He's been had. Defending himself to basically the maximum over here as he's fighting 2 separate teams on each side. But now it's up to Rice Krispie Treats to try to get Stunny. But they're not going to have any respawns and no mobile respawns either. So that's going to be a difficult thing to do as the armor swap is going to come in from Phony. He's probably going to hit a medkit here very shortly. Fury going to try to loot up as well and maybe get a mag for that R301 portal right into this team here as he's going to place that nicely done Arc Star. Forces him right back into the bubble too, but that player is still not down quite yet. And there's the finish coming in finally. That was a team intel. Probably the furthest we've seen them get in quite some time. Maybe that Sorting Factory game, but Prodigy Aces started a lot of action down here as Tech with that Digi Threat Volt just ripping in as it looks like Fury and the rest of Team Pringle is going to come through and try to get these finishes. But what a job by Tech from MWT. Staying alive right here in this type of situation. This is where all the placement points start to kind of trickle down here. So anything you can get is going to be big. But speaking of Fury, he's going to get dropped. Team Razor with a big game so far. That's there, Tricky. Let's see what he's doing.
Yeah, and that means they do have control over that platform to the east. You can see one player up top at the very least. Tech taking some damage. He does have the gold armor. He'll elect to hit that bat. Looking for him. No one inside here with 20 seconds left to go. He wants to try and at least hit that top 5 as a rat. I believe there should be one more rat in the game currently. So 4 full squads left. Shully is still alive for Execution Gaming here. And so yeah, we do have the Tomcat Ratcam, but he is stuck here at Skyhook, and there's a full team just above him for the time being as the ring does start closing in. Here comes Lonely Fans making a push onto this squad. Oh, the barrels are in excellent position to try and gatekeep the squad here, doing so much, slowing them down, doing a lot of damage as they're getting ticked away at. He does throw down that Nox Gas grenade, has the port set up by Blueberry Smalls, but that's going to be right into Razor, you have to imagine, as 165, they do go down. Blight has a small angle to work with. He was considering popping that Phoenix kit, but he will go down. and it's going to be Hackula pick up Blight here as Pringles now, as they do have the stairway to work off of. It's going to be a 3v3v1. There's still a rat still alive throughout all of this as Pringles back away onto the ramp, and they do have the time to try and heal up. Press does throw down those barrels for his squad, slowing things down. Phony has the angle from the stairs, but his team Razor on the other side. We'll see how much he has, or how much they have in terms of utility to try and finish this one off. Will that rat be able to survive to the end? Shots ringing out, hitting for the 34 with that. Tech does back down once again. So this is massive. He's made it into top 3 territory. If he can sneak his way into top 2, that would be even bigger for his squad. We'll see how much focus they put onto him. They know that the rat is here, Tom.
Yeah, he's kind of just being a nuisance right now, and whoever he shoots is going to kind of grief, just like we saw when Team Depression won that team fight over towards the side and the charge rifle came through. But Zeratricky has been an absolute beast over towards this side. Running out of ammo, though, you can see only about 50 shots left in the R301, so eventually they're going to have to make a play here, most likely with the black hole. And Zeratricky does have his Q if he wants to go and use that one too. But look at all these head angles that Team Pringles is taking. Everybody's taking different angles as well, so they're all clumped up and have different lines of sight, which is absolutely great. And there looks like Tech is now making his move. Does he want to try to take his way up this zip line? He could potentially win this game, Jamerson. They're not really showing the rat much respect.
Yeah, right now it's a full commit coming out from our trios that are remaining left in this lobby for the time being. As you were talking about, Zeratricky running out of ammo. This is some light ammo being tossed over, so he will have 3 full clips to work off of with 1 additional bullet for himself. But they're being walked down. They're being forced further and further back, and they're starting to run out of angles to play off of. As Zeratricky keeps his eye off of the right-hand side to check the left, he does flick on over and get some decent damage off. But Pringles are starting to close the distance, and that's important here, as they're walking them down with the barrels, closing them off. Don't have the Nox gas grenade, unfortunately. It's so close, though. 6% more for him to get it, and that could be the big opening for Team Pringles here. This is the best we've seen Team Pringles and Team Razor do so far in our series. It's about ultimately who's going to win this one out. Nox gas grenade is there. The bubble has been thrown down. He'll throw it inside the bubble to force them out, and they get 2 knocks here, but it's going to be the trades. So you're absolutely right, Tom. There is an opportunity here if he can get onto the high ground to try and punish this, but I think Texas just dropped down onto the low. We'll use that Q, but he's bleeding out to the ring now, and that's just going to be it. Team Pringles take the win away from Team Razor.